wants to know what's the newest, most effective fat buster on the market that lets you burn fat without extra diet or exercise. Thanks to brand new scientific research, the secret that millions of people across America are using to shed pounds quickly and effectively is a revolutionary new fat buster called Garcinia cambogia. A pumpkin-shaped fruit plant from Southeast Asia, Garcinia cambogia may be the most revolutionary fat-burning ingredient discovered to date. New research has found that this strange fruit may be the miracle pill that lets you lose weight without changing your diet or exercise. Garcinia cambogia inhibits the production of new fat in the body, and when the body is not making fat, it's burning fat. Scientific research shows that people using Garcinia cambogia lose 2 to 3 times more fat than with diet and exercise alone. Not only does it help with weight loss, Garcinia cambogia also helps emotional eaters by increasing serotonin levels in sleep, elevating mood, suppressing appetite, and preventing new belly fat. So Garcinia cambogia acts as a true dual fat buster. First and foremost, it suppresses appetite so you are not hungry. Second, it prevents fat from being stored by changing fat into glycogen for energy that your muscles will use when you exercise. To demonstrate, here's an example. When you eat food, your liver enzymes turn all of the sugar, bread, and carbohydrates into fat cells, and your fat cells swell and absorb this fat and get larger and larger, which is the cause of belly fat. Garcinia cambogia blocks these liver enzymes and creates a new pathway to move the sugar, bread, and carbohydrates into energy. By doing this, you prevent new fat from being formed, and your already swelled fat cells begin to shrink and convert that stored fat into energy. This new ingredient is the revolutionary new product the world has been waiting for and has been touted as the holy grail of weight loss.
Fat loss expert, which basically means that I help people lose weight, fit into tighter clothes, and feel more comfortable in their own skin. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about green tea and green tea's effect on weight loss. Green tea is regarded as one of the healthiest beverages on the planet. It's loaded with various different substances and many antioxidants that are great for our health. But the thing that really sells people on green tea is the fact that it has been linked to helping people burn fat and lose weight. But what about other teas? What exactly makes green tea so special? Well, one thing that green tea has that makes people lose weight is caffeine. Even though 1 cup of green tea has much less caffeine than a cup of coffee, the caffeine in green tea still has its effect. Everyone knows that caffeine is a stimulant that gets your heart rate higher, but most people don't know that by getting your heart rate higher, that caffeine is actually increasing your metabolism. What is it exactly that makes people lose weight from green tea? Green tea has potent antioxidants inside them known as catechins. The great thing about catechins is that unlike ephedra and other types of stimulants, catechins do not stimulate your nervous system, which means unlike those other stimulants that you buy to lose weight over the counter at your vitamin store, you won't have a seizure and you won't be bleeding out of your nose every time that you blow it. Catechins are really an amazing thing. They have such amazing effects that even when they're isolated from the rest of the tea, they still produce amazing results across the board. Catechins have not only been linked to weight loss, but have also been linked to lowering LDLs, which are your bad type of cholesterol, also raising HDL, which is your good cholesterol, and lowering your blood pressure, along with many other benefits. The most important of these catechins is EGCG, or epigallocatechin gallate. This is a substance and a type of catechin that can actually boost your metabolism. Certain studies have even shown that it can actually slow the growth of cancer and even stop it from growing completely. Burning fat is a very complicated process, so it's not like somebody's just sitting there waiting to press a button for you to start burning fat. Even though most fitness experts will tell you that it's just calories in and calories out, it's a lot more than that, and a lot of that has to do with the regulation of hormones in your body. So first, in order to burn fat, the fat has to be broken down in the fat cell and released into the bloodstream. We have a hormone that's released in our body known as norepinephrine. When norepinephrine is released into your body and is picked up by your nervous system then sends signals to your fat cells to begin the breakdown of fat. Now the reason why I'm telling you this is because there's a whole ton of different types of enzymes and hormones in our body that all have their function. And there are particular enzymes enzymes and hormones that will actually block norepinephrine if they are released. This is very important for survival reasons. For example, if we're starving, it's very good to not have norepinephrine run wild throughout our body because we'll burn off all the fat off of our body and starve. However, for people trying to lose weight, these enzymes can block norepinephrine, and that will actually get your body to stop burning fat. Now this all ties back to EGCG because EGCG will inhibit the enzymes that are inhibiting the norepinephrine from being released into your bloodstream and detected by your central nervous system, and then releasing that fat from your fat cells. So what all that means is that by having that EGCG, you'll also have more norepinephrine and more fat cells being broken down. Green tea can help us burn more fat during exercise. However, what most people don't know is that green tea has been shown to burn a ton of fat at rest as well. Most studies agree that even at rest, green tea will burn 3 to 4% more calories throughout the day. Some studies even say that it burns as much as 8% more calories throughout the day. And to top that off, green tea has been shown to burn that visceral fat, that deep fat that sits around our organs and leads to a number of different types of diseases that we do not want. There's also two things that are really cool that are being studied right now. One of them is a study done only on animals so far, and it proposes that green tea can reduce the amount of fat that we absorb from. Another thing is that several claims have been made that green tea can actually lower your appetite.
And needed by our body to help keep fat cells from becoming larger and larger. It is a body fat blocker that has many benefits. To explain what CLA is and why it has become so popular, we need to take a moment to tell you a story. The story begins. Centuries ago in ancient Greece and Egypt, there were very few reports of overweight people. Back then, we ate and drank from the cattle that ate nature's grass. This is when we can find that heart problems were a non-existent rate of 0%. That's right, 0%. And while cancer had been discovered, the American Cancer Society states that not even 1/4% of the population had cancer. Even if we fast forward to the 1900s, heart problems still isn't a huge number, but it is reported to be around 10% by mid-century, as reported by Healthline. During the early 1900s, weight problems aren't reported as much of the population still has trim bodies. Around 1900, cancer-related deaths are still at near 0%. Why? We still haven't begun grain-feeding cattle, so there is no industrialized fatty acid in the body yet. The world is still safe because cows still eat nature's grass. Entering the 21st century, the number of grain-fed cattle shot up astronomically as dairy farmers moved away from grass-feeding cows to force-feeding them chemically charged grains with unnatural synthetic hormones used as growth stimulants. The number of chemically charged grain-fed cattle has skyrocketed in the last 50 years. Around the same time, coincidentally, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 69% of adults in America are either overweight or heavier. That's 159,317,688 people. What a coincidence! As soon as we stopped feeding cows grass and started force-feeding them chemically charged hormone grains, more than 159 million Americans were reported to be overweight or even heavier. This may have also caused over 30 million Americans to have high blood sugar levels, as reported on diabetic.org, and 85 million to have heart problems, as reported by the CDC. Also, multiple research recorded by the NIH show that since CLA may hold back cancer-producing cells, the lack of CLA in the hormone-driven grain-fed cattle may be one of the reasons why 13.5 billion people live with cancer. It's a living nightmare where 2 out of every 3 people we know are overweight or even heavier, and it may be because of chemicals fed to the cows. In the past 50 years, the way farmers have fed and raised their cattle has changed. Most cows are no longer raised out on the range where they can feed off grassy pastures. The farms have become industrialized factories where the cows stand shoulder to shoulder while getting fed filler and grains in huge troughs. What is in the filler and grains, you ask? We don't really want to know everything, but we will let you in on a few items. The filler includes animals, including roadkill, feathers, hair, skin, hooves, and blood. drugs and chemicals such as growth hormones, plastics, grains that should never be fed to cows, and even manure and other animal wastes. So why have the dairy industry stopped eating cows' grass and converted to grains, you ask? The answer lies in the New York Times article entitled Power Steer, where it was reported using hormone in beef cattle is legal and financially irresistible. Hormones in grains cost $1.50 and add between 40 and 50 pounds to the weight of a steer at slaughter. So by spending $1.50, the dairy industry have an extra 40 to 50 pounds of cow to sell us while we suffer from all the toxic fat that these grain-fed cows produce. The dairy farmers do not want you to know that by using unnatural hormones in their grains, they only spend $1.50 and they have an extra 40 to 50 pounds of cow to sell us, while we all suffer from the toxic fat that these grain-fed cows produce. This brings up a lot of issues, but we'll just share with you what exactly this has to do with CLA. CLA is conjugated linoleic acid that is a good fatty acid found largely in beef and dairy products. A group of scientists at the University of Wisconsin were wondering what kind of health issues would be associated with this style of cattle raising, since most farmers in America have stopped feeding cows nature's grass and turned to hormone-driven grains to gain more profits. Upon researching this idea, it was discovered that there was less CLA naturally manufactured within the cows on grain than on grass. If that was the case, how much did that affect humans? These nice gentlemen decided to look into this a little further. When checking out what all CLA could do for us, the scientists found out that it was actually quite important to a human's health. CLA may help maintain blood sugar levels. It's great for heart health, it supports the immune system, and it may improve bone health. It was also observed during their research of CLA the effect it has on body composition. They were using pigs for the research, and while recording the process, they saw that the pigs were getting leaner. They were actually experiencing leaner muscles and less fat in their bodies. This helped the scientists realize that CLA was making that happen. Unfortunately, they weren't sure why CLA was making that happen to the pigs. Well, since pigs are close to us in physiology, then perhaps the same thing would happen with humans. This discovery set off a slew of research that would concentrate on what CLA could do for people. While these researchers examined different variables and came up with varying conclusions, the one consistent finding was that CLA may help people lose body fat. Among the research most cited is a Norwegian research study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2000. It found that CLA helped reduce body fat and preserved muscle tissue in overweight people who did not change their diet. According to the research project manager, individuals in the CLA group lost more body fat on average as compared to those in the placebo group. Another research study, published in the Journal of Internal Medicine Research, said that CLA reduced body fat in healthy, exercising humans of normal body weight. Research in the International Journal of Obesity showed that CLA reduced abdominal fat in overweight men, and Louisiana State University scientists showed a significant reduction in the body fat of male mice who were fed CLA over a period of 6 weeks. Further research completed by Scandinavian Clinical Research in Keller, Norway, took a look at CLA and body weight. Male and female volunteers who used CLA were a mix of healthy and overweight. The participants' body fat mass decreased while their lean body mass increased on the CLA supplements. This was reported in the article Conjugated Linoleic Acid Supplementation Reduces Body Fat Mass in Healthy Overweight Humans in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Yet another research study published in 2001 in Lipids, led by scientists Smedman and Vespi, investigated CLA's effects on humans and discovered that out of 53 men and women studied, the ones that were on CLA had a decrease in body fat as the muscles grew leaner. This research was 12 weeks long. Body fat decreased in those that took the supplement as opposed to those that took the olive oil placebo that had no reaction whatsoever. How is this possible? When fat enters the bloodstream, CLA can help block the small fat cells from becoming bigger and bigger and break the large fat cells into smaller pieces so they can be burned into energy and muscle mass. This will reduce the amount of fat in the body. CLA actually enhances the productivity of an enzyme in the muscles so that CLA can burn more fat. That in turn gives us a chance to be trimmer. As a result of the interaction of CLA in the bloodstream, we have a whole host of benefits that we can reap. CLA may help the heart. Research over the years has shown that heart health may improve when the body receives CLA. For instance, a 2007 research study by scientists tested rabbits with a CLA-enriched butter to check for the treatment of aortic problems within the heart, as well as hardening of the arteries. It was found that the rabbits on CLA had reduced plaque in the arterial walls. Reduced plaque equals less buildup in the bloodstream. That in turn shows us less of a chance to have heart-related problems. Heart problems may sometimes be connected to unwanted blood sugar issues. Since that's the case, several research studies have been made in this regard. One research study in 2002 shows us that by treating overweight men with CLA, a resistance to insulin and balanced glucose levels may occur. Those scientists with the pigs were onto something. Many other research studies have also concluded that when we take CLA, we may achieve lean muscles and reduced body fat. However, although CLA may have been shown through research to lower body fat, blood sugar levels, and increase insulin sensitivity, leading to an array of fat loss and body composition benefits, it is important to realize that it does not replace medication for those suffering from diabetes, heart disease, cancer, or any other disease. Anyone with a medical condition such as diabetes, heart disease, or cancer should continue to take their prescribed medication while working closely under the supervision of their physician, always following his or her medical and dietary advice. Because of all the positive research that has been done on CLA, it may be very beneficial to our health. It is found mainly in dairy products and also in red meat, poultry, eggs,
With Results Nutrition in Dallas. I'd like to speak with you today about L-carnitine. L-carnitine is an amino acid that serves several different functions in the body, one of which is to reduce body fat. What it simply does is convert fatty acids over to energy in your body. So not only reducing your body fat composition, but also giving you a nice smooth energy, not one like caffeine would, the anxiety and the jitters, but a nice natural smooth energy source. Another benefit is cardiovascular health, improving your heart and your vascular system both by reducing and regulating the flow of cholesterol and triglycerides in your system. Now you have a couple different options as far as how to administer the L-carnitine, one of which is liquid form, which is going to have a higher absorption rate and more bioavailability, meaning your body's going to utilize it more efficiently. You can also do capsule form, which not as high as absorption rate, so you do have to take a bit more, but either way is going to be very, very beneficial as long as you take up to about 3 grams a day. But if you do have any other questions, please feel free to give me a call or stop by my store. Again, my name is Ronnie at Results Nutrition.
Have you been reading in the news about the benefits of white kidney bean extract to help lose weight and block carbs, block fat, block sugars in your body? It basically has been, and I know Dr. Oz has featured it on a show, a number of magazines, a number of fitness magazines, a number of health magazines, and even just regular lifestyle magazines have talked about it. It's been on WebMD. It's been on a number of really respected websites. And the thing is that it just goes to show that sometimes the simplest things can have the greatest benefits. I think that it's, when I first heard about this, I was just shocked that just an ordinary being would have all the potential, all the benefits that this has. So take a quick look here. White kidney bean extracts blocks your body's absorption of carbs and then prevents your body from turning those carbs into sugars. And that's a big part of of being able to lose weight is preventing carbs from turning into fat, basically, and turning into sugar and fat. Now, we are talking here, if you noticed here, we're talking about white kidney bean extract, and that's important for you to understand, is white kidney beans are very, very good for you, and something you should include in your diet. However, in order to get the benefit that we're talking about here, you would have to have an awful lot of regular kidney beans on your plate. Whereas if you just have the extract, it can be condensed down into a pill or tablet form to help you do this and get a lot of benefit from it. So I want to make that distinction. We're not talking about just putting more kidney beans on your plate. Now, another benefit is it actually boosts your body's metabolism so that existing fat will actually burn more as well, even when you're resting. It has the same, a very similar effect sometimes when you're actually working out, as your metabolism will stay at a higher rate later on. There was a test group, we're going to show you a case study in a little bit, a test group of people who needed to lose weight, did lose weight, lost an average of 17 pounds in 28 days. And of course, because it was a control group, we asked them not to diet or exercise during that time period. Now, the other thing is that white kidney bean extract also curbs your appetite. So that's a great benefit for anyone who's trying to lose weight and having to battle constant temptation. Obviously, there's going to be some downsides, and one of them is you may experience gas. Now, I know that's a shock that something made out of beans will actually cause gas, but it is something that probably you would want to know about ahead of time. And there have been some cases of people who've had diarrhea. Sometimes a lot of diarrhea, sometimes just more than normal. So be aware of those things as well. Those are downsides that you weigh the good and the bad when you look at things.